On behalf of ATHEENAPANDIAN organization and International Foyers Biomedical, I welcome you all for this fourth International Faculty Development Program. Now, to introduce our guest, I would like to call upon Aruna V, a biomedical trainer from ATHEENAPANDIAN Private Limited.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Aruna, biomedical trainer at ATHEENAPANDIAN Private Limited. We are honored to welcome LUCIA RONDA ma'am for today's faculty development program. She is a highly skilled and passionate biomedical engineer currently pursuing a master's in engineering with, with a specialization in autonomous systems at the Technical University of Denmark. She has a profound interest in merging cutting-edge technology with healthcare, particularly in the field of medical robotics, autonomous systems, and artificial intelligence. Her academia journey spans internationally, so with studies across Sweden, Denmark, and Spain. She completed her Bachelor of Degree in Biomedical Engineering at the University of Karlstad and Karolinska Institute, gaining a valuable skills in Simulink, MATLAB, and good laboratory practices. Her research has been recognized for its impact in cardioelectrophysiology during her time at the Ithaca Institute in Spain, where she contributed to a advanced research analyzing electrocardiogram data with the goal of improving treatment for atrial fibrillation. A research by heart, she is well versed in machine learning, data analysis, robotics, and sustainability. With expertise in programming languages such as Python, her provocative approach, adaptability, and commitment to advancing both science and medicine make her a standout figure in her field. We are delighted to have such a dynamic and talented professional with us today, and we look forward to her valuable insights. Now I'm handing over the section to our guest, Lucia Ronda ma'am.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for the introduction, Aruna. So yeah, that's me. I am Lucia, and I will start sharing my screen to start for the presentation. Can you hear me? Everything correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right. So let's go. Okay, yeah. So today I'm going to give a webinar on unlocking the future, and we will talk about the career path in biomedical research. And before starting my presentation, I want you to know who I am. Because yes, I am Lucia, but what is that I am doing? So actually, I am a professional dancer, but I am also a teacher. And I am a traveler, and I am a cook. I am also an artist and an athlete. And on top of that, I am also an engineer, as you all know. And you know why I can be all of them at the same time. And the fact is that I feel passion for all the things that I just told you about. It doesn't mean that I was good when I started cooking or when I started dancing. It doesn't mean that I have never failed an exam. But the starting point of this webinar is that the motivation. And I don't want to lie to anybody. The research path is tough, but like any other. And it's within your passion and your motivation how you're going to be able to succeed in what you're doing. All right. So that is what I want you to talk about today. The opportunities in biomedical research and how to spoil your ambition and create a path that nobody will create for you. Okay, so before starting with this webinar, I wanted to know a bit about you. And I will please kindly ask you to use the chat and tell me a bit what is it that motivates you to pursue your career in biomedical research. Is it because you feel like some passion for science, you have an ambition of solving some health issues, or you are keen on the advancements of technology? So you could please use the chat, and I would love to read your answers. Let's see, what is it that is in your minds? Go back here. Okay. Come on, don't be shy. I don't see any messages so far. I'm going to copy the question here so that you can all see it. Yeah, okay. There we go. I can give you some options, these ones. Okay, also you can give me more, maybe it's more within the first one, the second, or the third. I provide you with these different options. Maybe you can give A, B, or C, depending on your preferences. Okay, nice. Thank you very much, Norval. Passion for science. That's very nice. Solving the health issues, yeah. Okay, I want to see if there are more A's, more B's, or more C's. Okay, another B, V, A, okay. Nice, so I see that most of the people are more like educational in this sense. That's very nice. Okay, so let's continue then. All right. Now, okay, yeah, here we are. So, what are we going to talk about today? So, to start with, I will, whoops, no, here, yes, we were here. Yeah, we are going to talk about, first I will introduce the topic. I will talk about a little bit of the scope of the biomedical research. What are the trends that are important today? What are the innovations that are happening lately? And what are the main issues that we are facing as researchers in this field right now? And then I will move into these career paths that you can face when as a biomedical engineer. And yeah, that's like from our side. And then I will see from my experience what are the key skills that I've been asked to in the working environments. To then talk about the key of success in, which is of course the networking, and I cannot emphasize this enough. That's why I gave a full section of this webinar for that. I will finish with the main challenges that I have faced as a researcher and that you should prepare for. And then I will finish with some takeaways. Okay, so let's start with the scope of staying biomedical engineer. So as a biomedical engineer, you should know a little bit about everything, let's say, right? Because it's the combination of engineering with biology and medicine, everything together. And so with all these different areas, then what you can do with all them. So you can end up working as a biologist, a chemist, a computer scientist. There are like many different areas where you can apply your knowledge as a biomedical engineer. And this is very nice because this gives a lot of different opportunities. And we can play this in our advantage because this doesn't mean that you will end up in one particular parcel or another. In most of the cases, it is the combination of different areas what you will see. So it is very important to keep your mind open to any change and to this combination that you can see. Okay, so now, what are the trends right now as biomedical engineers that we are facing in research? And the first one is the topic about medical devices. Medical devices are devices worn in the body that are used to monitor the health data in real time. For instance, the heart rates, the oxygen level, the glucose levels. And these devices are very crucial for the preventive care and chronic diseases. They offer this continuous monitoring, early detections of health issues, and this remote patient management. And with this, you empower both the patient from one side, but also the healthcare providers with very good insights of what's happening within the body. Of course, we have also to mention the CRISPR technology, right? This gene editing tool that is now super trendy within the scientists, and it's about altering the DNA sequences. So with the CRISPR-Cas9 in particular technology, you can correct genetic defects, you can treat genetic diseases, or even enhance some traits. It's very precise and efficiency which is very good in research. But it has this main issue of the ethics, right? It arises this ethical question about gene editing, especially when you think about humans. The modification of DNA, it could be a bit tricky question. But another very current trend is with the precision in medicine, right? It's the new approach in healthcare where the treatments are not by the book, let's say, and they are personalized to specific like individual genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors. It uses data from genetic tests and other biomarkers, even like the patient history. So it's like this precision medicine aims to provide more effective therapies. And also it tries to minimize the side effects and so and enhance the outcomes of the treatment. AI is everywhere, as you know, and this can also be applied in our research because artificial intelligence, I will say that right now, it is transforming the healthcare. Now I am a biomedical engineer, and now I'm specializing in autonomous systems in order to delve all these AI and machine learning that is so needed nowadays for improving the diagnosis, predictive analytics, personalized medicine, all the workflow automation. The AI is everywhere. So they can analyze with the AI, you can analyze huge amounts of medical data, identify patterns, or even assist in this decision making of the doctors. So it helps healthcare professional provide more accurate diagnosis and treatment plans. And it also reduces the weight of these administrative tasks. And to finish, I don't know how many of you have heard about the digital twins, but the digital twins, specifically in this field of healthcare, refers to virtual replicas of a patient, or it could be a patient, a biological system, or even an organ. And this replica is created using real-time data from wearables, sensor, health records, and all this. With these simulations, you allow the healthcare providers to model and predict treatments. And so it allows the personalized intervention and this proactive care. Digital twins can be used in different situations to simulate surgical outcomes, to manage chronic conditions, and many other situations. So it's very important. All right. So with all these new trends, all these innovations, where can we apply these specific trends? And this is what I call the top biomedical issues for the next generation. And I will say that the 5 top biomedical issues are summarized here. And the first one is in the field of IVH, because you need to know that this IVH before it was used to help with couple that had problems in infertility, and they helped them to conceive children. But now there is a new trend in these clinics, and now it's used for creating healthier babies for people who don't suffer from this infertility. And why is this happening? Because there is a decline in the fertility treatment demand. Nowadays, people don't have that many children. So we need this clinic had to steal more money. So the investors are creating this influence, and also like the market is forcing for this new approach. But this raises ethical concerns, right? First, because it is a social inequality, I will say. Not everybody have access to creating healthier babies. Only the wealthier families can afford this kind of treatments. But also, when you talk about healthier babies, what does this really mean, right? Because what is healthy? Is the selective breeding of humans to produce the desired traits. So there must be some regulations and some ethical boundaries in this topic. And now, as I mentioned before, the CRISPR-Cas9, now the gene editing is, now I'm moving to the second topic over here. The gene editing is replacing the gene therapy nowadays. You know that gene therapy it is about inserting new genes into a patient's cells to treat or mitigate a disease, but it doesn't alter the DNA patient's germline. Whereas the gene editing directly modifies the DNA in a precise way. This corrects the mutations or alters some genetic sequences. It is becoming more precise and eliminates the genetic diseases. It can even prevent diseases before they even happen. Before they even happen. So then, what's the problem with um, substituting gene therapy with gene editing? The problem is that it has not been proven enough to be safe in long term. We are modifying the DNA itself, so it can have some off-target effects in this DNA. And even also when we were talking about as before the ethical questions, we have to think about the regulation of this gene editing in embryos, right? Because it will be, as we were saying before, creating babies the way we want. The third topic, sorry, over here, it's about artificial blood. And this is a topic I didn't know and I found out recently, but it's actually happening already. Artificial blood, it permits universal donation, and it is achieved using synthetic biology, cloning, and way better bioincubation than we were using before with these enhancements. So this means that it is safer, but it means it will be more safe but more expensive transfusions as viral and bacterial risks fall to zero. In the field, transfusion is becoming a routine, right, for a variety of needs, including accidents or anything. But I will say that it is the poorer countries that are in need of this technology, right? These poorer countries are with the combat terrorism and they are desperate to acquire this technology, as they have been able to achieve they haven't been able to achieve safe and adequate blood supplies, but the price make it prohibited for these regions. So yeah, I will say this is the main challenge in this sense. And the fourth and last topic that I want to mention here is to talk about the telemedicine, right? Now hospitals are closing some units as home-based care, and the residential care is rapidly growing. We have now this telemedicine, better implantables, and blood-assisted chronic care, which is a super attractive and low-cost substitution of the doctors. Okay, so this was the introduction from my part. And now I would like to talk about the career paths and the career opportunities that we will face. And for that, I will focus mainly in two main areas. It could be research in academia or research in the industry. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about what are the differences between one and the other. So, of course, you know that the main difference in between these two is in terms of money. Okay, recently I came out with this paper that said that in the statistics, it says that in the industry, the salaries in average are 30% more than in academia. But it's not only in terms of the salary, but also the fundings. When you are talking in the academia research, usually you depend on public fundings, the national government fundings. And in the industry, you have private investors. So usually it's better in terms of fundings. But money is not everything. So you also have to think about yourself, right? Your goals. And so, in this sense, from my experience, I will say that I'm going to be clear here. If you want to make a meaningful impact, if you want to end up teaching or publishing papers, right? Like a meaningful impact, that's something that is going to last for long, I will say that you are more into going for the academia path. Because it's more within collaborations and sharing with others in these international congresses. However, in the industry, at the end, it is more about selling a product, right? You're doing research, but you need to meet the product release deadlines, and you have to achieve the sales target. So it depends. Yeah, it depends on your goal. And okay, so we talked about money, we talked about our goals, and then about timing. And here I want to talk about the flexibility, because in academia, usually when you work in research, when you finish studying as a student, the transition to going from studying to the working environment, if you are doing research in the academia, it's more smooth. Okay, it's like a more chill environment. Usually they are flexible with your schedules, and also you will not be the only one that is a student. You will not be the youngest one in these terms. Also, you have another key advantage, that is this intellectual freedom, right? You don't need to meet this sales deadline that we were talking about before, and that freedom is also, I will say, another key point to consider it. But yeah, but so then how do you know to go from one to the other? And I think that in this case you have to determine your priorities. You have to decide how you want to spend your time now and long term. Do you want, are you more into publishing, traveling, reporting? And it depends, it really depends. And also you need to know your strengths. Are you a structured person? Are you self-oriented? I don't know, it depends. And also you have to keep your mind open, because that is not all you can do, you know. You can also start your own biotech company, or your medtech industry, right? And that's something that I'm learning now in my doing my my studies that I'm currently taking. I'm doing a course in, it's called AI for Entrepreneurs, and it's a very interesting course because it is about how you can produce a product on your own in terms of meeting the market opportunities and everything. You and a GPT, now with all these trends, if you know a lot about the transformers in machine learning, and if you delve into how the language graphs, and there are so many tools that can help you through the way. And it is not that hard as before to start your own company. Yeah. So okay, we have considered a bit about both terms, and that from this part. And now I will move on after reflecting on our capabilities and what we expect from the market. Now I want to comment what they expect from us, okay, in this working environment. And this is divided in like hard and soft skills, which are both equally important, because they know that when we start working, they know we come as students. So many of the time, it's in the soft skills where you can make a difference. Okay, so let's go. And yeah, so here are I would say the main four hard and soft skills that you need to check if you know and if you have, because these are, I would say, the most important. And the first one, let's first talk about the hard skills, is the research and observation. You need, for leading and conducting a biomedical research project, you need to be a person who is very much into attention to detail. And you need to be able to ask clear questions, and have be good with your own organization. But also, not only observation, but you have to be able to have some management skills, because most of the time you're not going to work by yourself. But if you're working on your own project, although it's a collaboration, you need to have some settings in terms of priority settings. You need to have some skills in terms of leadership, but also teamwork skills. Most important, time management, to lead with this deadline that we were talking about. And if it's you who is managing the project, you need to be good with resource allocation. Okay, and now these two skills, it really depends on which kind of laboratory you're working at. If you're working in wet laboratories for pharma or other things, you need to know about like this safety experimentation with pro tools like ELISA. Whereas if you're working in a dry laboratory, it's more important to know about these data analytics, these computer models, simulations, all these statistics, SQL programming, all these. Okay, so machine learning and data visualization are very important skills. But as I said before, it's not only about the hard skills, but in the soft skills, which is where you will find the most, I will say, the most important part. Because at the end, when you are working in a project, you will need to learn some of these skills, right? And you can work on them while studying. But these are more difficult to work on. The first one is in terms of communication. Okay, when you are working in research, it's very important because sometimes you will feel lost, and it's important to know where you are facing and where you're looking forward. So you need to have very good communication skills for you to talk with your colleagues, but also for presenting, because I will say that most of the times it's not what you sell but how you sell it. And believe me, I've seen it so many times in the conferences and congresses that people are just, they don't have good communication skills, and they start talking, and at some point you are bored, and maybe the idea is amazing. It happened to me once that I was in a workshop, and there was this guy talking about a new project that he developed in PPGI, in photoplethysmography for imaging. And when he gave the presentation, I had no idea what he was talking about. But at the end, when he finished, I went to talk to him, and it was a very smart idea, and it was amazing. But it was so boring that I couldn't follow to the presentation. So I would say that communications skills are very, very important. And also, you have to be flexible. You have to keep an open mind, because, as I said, usually you will work in collaborations, and in these collaborations, they don't. Not everything depends on you. Maybe you are waiting for some other to send you the data so that you can analyze it, or you send your results to somebody that had to give you feedback on your results. So the deadlines do not always depend on you. And also, your supervisor may change your path from one day to another. It happens all the time, no worries. So you have to keep an open mind. And also, you have to keep an open mind in terms of keep learning new tools, because now with this explosion of AI, new tools are coming available every single day, and you have to keep open to keep learning all the time. Of course, motivation in research. If you are not motivated, then you are not going to get anywhere. Let me assure you that. You have to take initiative. You have to be able to work independently, and also have some sense of curiosity. Because if you're curious about what you're doing, you will investigate more in that. So I will say that's very important. And to finish, I think all these 8 skills that I write down here, this is the most important: persistence. Because research takes time, and it is full of unknowns. And you have to keep working on that. And also, when you think you have done a project, from the time it finishes till the time it will get published, this will take so long. They will take forever. Okay, so yeah, I will say this is the main skills. Okay, so I've been talking for so long already. So now I'm going to take a break. And for that, now it's your time. I will give you these self-assessments in which I want you to rate your skills. Okay, 0, you think that you are not good in observation. 0.5, you are kind of less okay, and 1, you're super good at it. So I will please ask you to rate all of the skills that I mentioned from a scale from 0 to 1. And I want you to please write on the chat when you add all the scores, what did you get? I want to have a little bit of an idea about how are you up, and what do you think also about yourself. Please add the numbers that you get from each of the skills, add them up, and write what you get in the chat. Let me see if I can share this while I see your numbers over here. it is. Yes. Perfect. All right, no numbers so far. It will be a number from 0 to 8. Mm. Okay, so while you do it, I can also rate myself. All right, more or less. Okay, so in terms of hard skills, it's 1 point for each of the 4. So how many of you would say that they are around 2, let's say, in these skills, like 0.5 more or less in average in them? Or a 4, it could be whatever. All right, so while you think about it, I'm going to continue with the presentation, and maybe we can have a look at the results later on. Okay. So let's go. I hope you see my screen. Yes, you see my screen. Perfect. Okay, and so now one thing that I think is super good to improve your skills will be, so now you have rated yourself, you know a little bit about how you're doing, right? And now I think it's very, very important to pick up one hard skill and also one soft skill, and then try to think about how you can improve each of these 2 skills that I am the worst at in the following 6 months. For instance, I will say that maybe somebody thinks that they are not good in communication. So in these terms, I will say that from here in the following next month, I will try, I don't know if, for instance, if some of you are still studying, I will try to ask more questions during the lectures, because it's something that everybody feels a bit shy during the lectures to raise their hand and ask a question. Or in terms of project management, if you're still studying, you could be, okay, from now on, I will try to be more active when I have group projects in university, or even my own projects. I will try to be more active in preparing the projects, in doing these workflows and time management. Okay, so I think it's very important to spend some time reflecting on our own skills. All right, and now let's move to the main, and I will say this is the most important point of the presentation today, which is the key to success, which I will say is networking. And for that, here I share with you my LinkedIn profile. No worries, this is not a workshop in LinkedIn. I'm not going to talk about how to do a LinkedIn profile or anything, but when you talk about networking, LinkedIn has to come out, okay? And this picture is a bit tricky, and I did it on purpose, because this is my LinkedIn profile, but there is one thing that is wrong in this profile and one thing that is right. There is one bad thing and one good thing. And I don't know if you could be able to tell me what it is. You know that when there are recruiters, or even in the research in the academia, this is the first thing that they see, right? This is your face, what they see to start with. And I will say that the thing that I'm doing wrong here is this wallpaper. This wallpaper looks like any wallpaper in the biomedical field, right? So I know this is wrong and I have to change it. I just I haven't had find the time, and I haven't found a very good wallpaper that defines me and tells me exactly what I am. But this is something that I have wrong. But there's also something that is very good in this LinkedIn profile, and it's this small thing over here, because you have to set something that makes you different from the rest of the people. Okay, I will say that the key to success in this networking effect is to be something else. Okay, you have to set something that takes you different from the rest. And although, yeah, so there are like main advantages that you can play with, but not only this will help you get a job, but this will help you decide and understand what you're looking for. So you have to stay active. You have to stay active in in social media, and of course LinkedIn. And how can you stay active? Because not only LinkedIn, you have to attend events. And here I can show you some examples. For instance, this is me in a hackathon. It was, I think, like 5 months ago. Hackathon, I don't know if you're familiar with the term, but it's actually a contest in which, in this case, it was a 30-hour contest, non-stop. It was non-sleep. It was insane, but it was amazing, in which we were asked a question about how to improve the patient the patient experience in a hospital. And this is me and my group, and we won the first prize about the idea. And this is a very good thing for making contacts, because it was 30 hours of us working in the project, but there were also a lot of mentors around. You could ask them questions, and that's also a good thing because they know how you are and they know how you put like on actions. So I don't know, I think it's very, very good opportunity. So there are this kind of contests, but also other programs. For instance, this is me in I am now part of an excellence program in mentoring and engineering for women in STEM. And this is also a very good opportunity. This is not so much of a professional opportunity, let's say, but this is more for my personal growth, to see how women are in the field and how we are still the minority and everything. So yeah, this is a very good contest. And of course, if you have opportunities, go to congresses. This is me 2 weeks ago, yeah, in Karlsruhe in Germany, that I went there for a congress to present one of my latest projects. But also it was a super good time to learn about the latest advancements in the field. So it's very important to keep active and attend these events. And not only attend these events, but you have to, when you, for instance, imagine they are giving a workshop about like somebody in a company that you are very interested in, and you want to attend the conference because that person is going. You cannot just say like, hey, good evening, how are you doing? Do you have any student jobs, or do you have any opportunities in your company? Because that doesn't show, that shows interest, but that doesn't. You have to come up with questions. Everybody loves hearing what you like from their companies. So you have to come up with questions. You have to approach them with a smile, with a good aptitude. You have to show curiosities. Okay, so I think that the main important fact here is that you have to be something else than just an engineer or just a professional. You have to find a way that people will remember you. And that's why I showed over here this, that yeah, I am a dancer. It doesn't mean that I am going to perform the research job better or worse, but at least it's something that sets me apart from the rest. Okay, so this is very important. Smiles always, show curiosity, and find a way that people will remember you. Okay, and with this, I wanted to have a bit of a virtual networking session with some questions that you will find out when facing the first maybe the first interviews or something. And so I don't know if there is any voluntary to come and open the microphone so I can ask them some questions and see how we're doing. No worries, there is no right or wrong answer. but maybe it will be funny, and it will be for sure a good exercise for you and to see how you're doing and practice, because this, of course, nobody was born learning, and this is something that I said as I started this webinar, but I think it will be very funny and interesting to see. So anybody wants to open the microphone, and I can ask them some questions as if I am the company, and then we can have some networking. Let's see. Anyways, I can also share with you here some questions, and you can also keep them for later on. And I think it will be very fun and interesting for you. For instance, everybody will start with something like this. Let me paste it in the chat. There you go. Tell me a bit about yourself, right? What sparks your interest in the biomedical research? And that's some question that you should be prepared for. And then also something like, this is also super typical question, right? Here it is. Can you describe a time when you encountered a challenge in your research, how you overcame this challenge? Super interesting question. And this tells a lot about yourself and the skills that we were mentioning before. There are other questions such as, if I were to ask your colleagues or your professors about your strength, what would they say? And this works in terms of strength and also your features or your weak points in your personality. Another question, I don't know, this one. What's one skill you're currently trying to improve? What are your steps that you're taking to do that? I don't know, this is just like some brainstorming. Okay, so yeah, you can see maybe, I don't know if somebody wants to answer some of these questions for the rest, or whereas in the chat with the microphone. But I think it would be super nice to see how good we are with this communication, how you are engaging, and it also tells a lot about your enthusiasm and how professional you are and how deep you are in your answers. Okay, so I don't know if somebody wants to come up, or else we just continue and you have this already to practice on your own later on. All right. So else I'm going to continue. And we are, oops, what happened? Okay. I don't know why this is not changing. Whatever. Okay, so now let's move into the challenges that you will face as a biomedical researcher. Okay, let's see why this is. Okay, let's go now. Perfect. Okay, so what are the challenges that you're going to face mainly? And I think this is the first challenge that when you start doing research, and it is identifying the research question, because you have to find a question that is relevant, and it ensures it is feasible within the constraint of the available resources and the expertise. There is something called the Finner criteria. I don't know if you know about this, but the Finner criteria, F encounters for feasible, interesting, novel, E of ethical, and R of relevance. You need to find a question that is relevant and feasible within your constraints, okay, within your expertise, your experience, and also the money, the funding, and the resources. Usually you will find interdisciplinary collaborations to look for innovation and these impactful research questions. So yeah, this is super tricky to start with. And then yeah, you will face this challenge, this barrier of the educational and training challenge, education and training, because maybe you come from a different background or you come from a different place, you are used to a different piece. So yeah, you may find some problems when starting from scratch and to adapt to this new environment. And most of the time you will, let's hope not, but you will face this lack of support and resources. At the end, if you're working on your project, you're working on your own, and the fundings usually come, if you're working in academia at least, they usually come from national health organizations. But it can also be from some pharmaceutical companies, trust foundations, or other donations. And this, you have to deal with this, you have to deal with the resources and the support. And also you will face problems in terms of ethics, okay, because your morals should come first. As I said at the beginning, this is about passion. You have to do something that you feel passionate about. And sometimes this, the research that you end up doing, it doesn't go with this. And also, I mean, ethics, it means, for instance, experimenting with animals or stuff like this. But also you have to be careful with dealing with patient data, because this can include issues of confidentiality. There is a need for equity and inclusion. um, the ethical, the data is very sensitive, and you need the ethical management of the data. Now, specifically with the introduction of AI in healthcare, the data privacy is very important. Of course, one of the yeah, and this is also something that I saw 2 weeks ago when I went to this conference, this computing cardiology congress. And it is the fact that the the research and the clinics are not usually integrated. Okay, clinicians are often like overburdened with they have to do the patient care, and also they have administrative responsibilities, so they leave a very little amount of time for research. So it's important to collaborate in developing a culture that values and integrates the research into the clinical practice. And this is essential for overcoming these barriers, because sometimes and because this conference that I was attending, I remember that they asked a surgeon to please like go to this to give an opinion. They were asking questions to like a few professionals, and in within there were a lot of engineers and one surgeon, and they asked him, okay, you have heard a lot of ideas today, which ones of these would you say that will be nice and will can be applied to the clinics? And he said that so far he didn't see any applications of that actually happening in healthcare in the clinics. So it was kind of a shock, right? These people were presenting works and projects that they have been working for maybe a year, to find out that most probably they will end up nowhere. So it's very important to develop this culture for the integration of the research into the clinical patients. Okay. And the last problem that you will face is in terms of publication. Um, Peer reviews are tough and they are unpredictable. They will take very long. So this maybe you think you're done with your project, you write your paper and then you send it for peer reviewing, and then they come up with many things to change or none, or then yeah, it's insane. It will take forever. And then it's very important the use of social media and LinkedIn, as we said before, for the dissemination of your studies. All right, so I think those are the main topics that I wanted to cover for today. And now I want to give some takeaways, okay? And I want you to reflect on your ambitions and set a path. As I show in this picture, your ambition is like your compass, okay? You need to use it to guide your decisions. And you cannot be afraid of craving your own path. The first step to a successful career in biomedical research is, yeah, is identifying what is exactly what drives you, and you have to be proactive. Keep creating opportunities. Don't expect opportunities to come to you. You have to create them. Okay. And when we're talking about the different career paths and the different opportunities, I want you to remember that whether you choose academia or you choose industry, both paths offer very fulfilling opportunities. Each has its own unique challenges and its unique rewards. And your career path doesn't need to be linear. You have to keep open and you embrace new challenges, explore different sectors, find what is the right fit for you just by trying. And for that, um, going back to the hard and soft skills, uh, I wanted to remember that a successful biomedical researcher must be technically strong, but they have also need to excel in this communication, this teamwork, and adaptability. So don't just work on technical expertise. You need to invest time in your soft skills because they are exactly what we will drive you, we will set you apart and will drive you to these collaborative environments. Now, about the networking parts, uh, I can't strong enough the importance of networking. This is how you're going to find opportunity. You need to keep networking. You need to build connections, and it's crucial for your career worth. Networking can open doors to new opportunities, to new collaboration. I will say that your network is your greatest asset. So please nurture it, be intentional about building meaningful connections. Okay, so the path is not easy, but it's perseverance, flexibility, and with passion for discovery is what will help you achieve your goals in this field. Okay, so now before I say goodbye, I have one last question for you guys. So, based on what you have heard today, if there is one thing you could do to move closer to these goals, something that you could do tomorrow, like right now, what would it be? And yeah, I'm going to stop sharing again and see if we have any answers here. I'm going to paste. Oh no, I can do it like this. Yeah. Here you go. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is also, I think, something very important to reflect on because, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I have to, as I said before, and I'm the first one that sometimes procrastinates. I have to improve my LinkedIn profile. I have to do this, I have to do that. But no, something that you can do tomorrow. Like, now, as I said, we have to be proactive. For instance, I think that something that you did yesterday or was to make the decision to come into my workshop today, for which I am very grateful. But something that you can keep improving. I don't know, maybe this is something you can reflect on. And if we have no ideas, I will, yep, I will finish with this. And well, thank you very much to all of you for attending this presentation. And I don't know if you have any questions or something that you would like to share with me. I will stay here for a few more minutes to answer some questions or whatever you have in mind, or to explain any topic more clearly, because maybe I was a bit too fast in some parts. Don't be shy. Oh, yes,
Yes,
of
ma'am. Yes, I have one queries, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What is the basic and what are the major research area we have using in your country, ma'am? What is the major research in biomedical, particularly in biomedical science? So, what is the major area they can focus those type of researches are going in your country, ma'am?
All right. I don't know because the voice and the microphone, I don't know if it's my connection. I'm going to repeat your question to see if I understood correctly. What are the main areas
Yes,
of
ma'am.
biomedical research?
Yes, ma'am. Major research areas in your countries, particularly in biomedical science.
Okay, yeah. So I will say over here is mostly about tissue engineering and regenerative medicine. It's getting very trendy because people, for instance, at the beginning were people that had like a burn, how to develop and get better. Now, at least what I was studying in my home university, there was this huge um, team which was about treating problems in skin mainly. So yes, yeah, I would say regenerative medicine, cell culture, most of the strongest teamworks and companies that at least I knew of were in those fields. Yeah. But there is a bit of everything. For instance, I am from Spain, but now I am living in Denmark, in another country in the north of Europe. And over here, everything is about wearables and medical devices. So, yes, I think you have a bit of everything. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for asking.
So, dear faculty members and professors, is there any doubts regarding in our field? You can ask to the ma'am. The ma'am will be wait for a few minutes. The ma'am will be easily reach out to your questions through the chat box also. Thank you.
Yes, whatever you prefer, either through the chat or talking. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you for attending. I hope it was of help. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Well, anyways, if you don't have questions now, but you want to reach me afterwards, I have you can do it through LinkedIn. I have an active profile, and I search and I reply. I hope and I try to reply fast. So anyway, you can contact me through LinkedIn if you have any other questions or anything. Maybe you have some suggestions in case. All right. So yeah, if that's it, I hope you all enjoyed the webinar. And yep. And thank you very much for attending. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
I
One,
have a
one,
question.
yes, ma'am.
Nice. What emerging trends shape career opportunities in biomedical research today? Oh, okay. Yeah, we can come back to that. And I will say thank you very much for your question, though. Yeah, let me go back there. I will say that right now, these are the main. Let me share it with you. These five. are the main trends. Let's see if it's charging. Yeah, I would say these are the main trends nowadays because AI is escalating and it's evolving like crazy. So these five main topics I would say are the most important ones because with the CRISPR technology, still it's in process because of these ethical concerns that we were talking about. But the precision medicine is very important, and the wearable devices. At least where I am from, almost everybody is now with this Apple Watch or whatever thing for doing exercise. But also, I don't know if you know about these new devices that are like patches that people put over here. People that have like that are the problem with the glucose, and they have to, instead of taking the blood tests every single time, they have this. And with, for instance, spectrometry, you can see like how good they are doing, how their immune system. So it's actually insane lately. Of course, in terms of the digital twins, and yeah, I would say these are the main five. I don't know if that answer your question.
Yes, ma'am. So, in students' point of view, what kind of the way of procedures need to follow to get out of for the biomedical research area, ma'am? So, what is the procedure of to follow by the students in the early graduation? What is the steps we need to follow for the students, ma'am?
Okay, so as a student, how can you end up in research? You mean?
Yes, yes, correct, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. In that term, I can talk about my own experience as a student. If you're in class, of course, you cannot like all of the courses you're taking. So you have to focus on the courses that you like the most and be active in classes because usually professors are taking classes because they work in research and they are forced to give some lectures. So when you are in a class that you like, then you have to go talk to the professor. I think that's one of the main thing. And you are like, oh my god, I'm very interested in this. Do you know? I don't know. Show curiosity, show enthusiasm, and you're like, okay. Do you have any research group that I could join? And maybe in that case, maybe the professor is just giving the lecture, and they are not in a specific team. But for sure, he can tell you who to talk to. So I will say in academia, it's quite easy to find these kind of opportunities. Sometimes, and this is very true, sometimes you may start working without a salary because you are doing a project that counts for university ECTS or credits, but it's a good starting point. And then, yeah, you talk to a professor, then you go to like an academia, let's say, laboratory, right? And then from them, usually it's about collaborations. In my case, I started in a university, but then they had a collaboration with a hospital, so I ended up going to the hospital, and from them I moved on because I didn't like that topic that much, so I moved to another field and I started again. So I think, yeah, with talking with professors, that's a very good starting point.
Yes, ma'am. I hope there are no questions are there. So, anyway, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and your presentation will be most valuable for us to get into the biomedical research areas in upcoming days. So, thank you very much, ma'am, for your patience and accepting our invite. Hope we will be conducting another one session in future, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, so for your time and for your presentations. More valuable to us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you too for inviting me. It was a pleasure to give the webinar, to share a bit about what I know. And yeah, I hope we can do it some other time. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.